But again, throughout the next hour, you're going to find me talking to folks in this crowd. In fact, the people organizing this crowd. With me right now, just a couple of them who have been part of this Tea Party movement from the beginning. I say the beginning because it really doesn't have that long a history. With me right now, to your right is Nate Wiggin. He is a lifelong Democrat. You voted for Barack Obama. You organized this event. And also with us is Julianne Thompson. You're the Atlanta Tea Party organizer, co-organizer. So you're both organizing this. Nate, to you first. You heard what this organization has been described as: extreme, astroturf, even racist. How do you feel about that?
Well, I guess if I'm a Tea Party, I guess I'm black, I'm a racist. You know,
does that bug you?
Yeah, kind of, sort of, but I mean, they'll do whatever it takes to kind of discredit us. So, you know, I'm out here trying to show the world that we're not racist and we're all about saving America.
All right, so what is it that has changed since you voted that now's got you upset?
Well, it's just knowledge. I was a lifelong Democrat, and I was kind of raised as a Democrat, and I really didn't have any understanding about the political process. So after I voted, I said, well, I should educate myself, and so I can see exactly what I was voting for. And what I found I didn't like. I'm an American. I started to learn the Constitution, and that the principles that our forefathers laid down were not the ones that this administration were abiding in.
Julian, you've been with this movement from the beginning. It's not a long history, but it is an interesting one. And you know how this movement has been described, and you know how it's been called a lot of nasty things by the mainstream media. Does it ever bug you?
Well, I think it just shows the simple fact that the typical MO of the far left is that when you cannot compete on the issues, you resort to character assassination. So I try not to let it bother me too much. We're going to keep focused. We're going to focus on our core issues of fiscal responsibility, constitutionally limited government, and free markets, and we're not going to be dissuaded by anyone.
All right. Democrats quickly counter, and critics of the Tea Party movement quickly counter, well, where was this rage when George Bush was spending and there were the financial rescues and the bank bailouts? Where was the Tea Party movement then?
I think that the Tea Party movement was slowly brewing at that time and getting ready to begin. There were a lot of people that were very upset when the stimulus bill began underneath George W. Bush and when the bailouts began. So it's not something that's just part of the Barack Obama administration. It is something that began during the Bush administration.
Well, how would you describe yourself now? Are you more Republican, Democrat, third party, what?
I am a constitutional conservative, and I believe that the leader of what I believe is the United States Constitution, yes, I am a Republican, I vote Republican, but our movement is comprised of Democrats, Republicans, and independents and libertarians, and we're a very tolerant group, and we tolerate each other in our views, and we come together on those three core issues that I discussed before: the fiscal responsibility, limited government, and free markets.
How about you, Nate?
I stand firm with her. I mean, we're all about fiscal responsibility, constitutional limited government, and free markets.
Well, are you, if you don't mind my being personal, a Democrat now, or Republican, what?
Well, I align more with conservative values. I feel like men and women should prove their own worth in life. The government shouldn't tell them what they're worth, and the government definitely shouldn't hand them things and say, hey, this is what we have for you. I believe that people should get out and take care of themselves. That's what the country was founded on.
How do your friends and family react to your views?
Well, at first, they're kind of like, what? Until you teach them the facts. Like when you say, hey, open up the Constitution and read it. Read some of the legislation that was just passed. Don't take their word for it, read it. And then when they do that, they say, wait a minute, you're right. It's bogus. We shouldn't be. So it's just a question of getting the word out there to more people.
All right, Nate and Julianne, thank you both very much. I know you have a very busy day ahead of you just organizing something like this, but thanks for taking the time. This is kind of typical of what you hear from a lot of the people here, that they were sort of apolitical. They really weren't into this one way or the other. And all of a sudden that changed. And when it changed, they changed. And that was their view. All of a sudden, it got to the point that they just didn't like what they were seeing. They didn't like the kind of government that they were getting. So again and again, when I've said that this is not a right or left-wing issue, that it's really just an anti-big government issue, it falls on some deaf ears, but that's really the facts there, folks. So for the next hour, as we're here and later on, when we continue getting into this crowd and talking to this crowd, you judge for yourselves. Are they nuts? Are they crazy? Are they astroturf? I think you'll come to find that the media cannot pick and choose its rallies or its causes. If you're going to go to an anti-war rally, you might as well check this one out. All right, now, continuing now with some of the folks who were here and why they were here. Pete Harvey joins me, and Dee Dee Harvey. Guys, how you doing?
Very well, Neil.
Thank you. All right, Dee Dee, why are you here?
I'm here because the first time in my life, in my 52 years, I am afraid for our...
52?
Yes.
You go, girl.
No work either. But I'm afraid for our country and for our children's futures. It's just really a scary time in history.
But Pete, what made it more scary? I mean, if you think about it, the spending and the bailouts and the rescues, that's been going on for a while and precedes this administration and this Congress. So what changed?
Well, it preceded this administration, but it has accelerated since this administration exponentially. And then the health care bill has, over and above, gone all that spending. It's unsustainable. You can't provide health care for that many more people and have it be self-sustainable. It's going to...
Well, how do you know? They say you can.
You can't go out and buy more shoes and spend less money.
Did you talk to my wife about that? All right, so Dee Dee, let me get your sense of what happens after today, after the rally and you and your husband go home. Is it going to be like over? Because the argument against the Tea Partiers is that what they wish doesn't happen. You've wanted to put a lid on spending, they keep spending. You didn't want the health care bill, it became law. So Congress must think you guys are just paper tigers.
Well, at first, like, we attended the Tea Party, which got no coverage in D.C., where they said there was a few thousand people, and I was there, and there was easily over 1 million people, 2.5 million, whatever it was. And at first I thought, well, gosh, this is great. Let them dismiss us. The more they dismiss us, the madder people got. And I think that is indeed what has happened. Last year at this Tea Party, we had 20,000 people, and I hope we way exceed that number. But the thing that's really disturbing is that they don't listen to us. And I'm not really sure what the answer is, Neil, but I know this for certain. If we don't continue to fight, the fight cannot be won. That is a certainty.
All right. Well, I'm here. I want to bring you in. Young lady, why are you here?
Well, I'm here because I'm tired of government telling us how we need to run our lives. It should be the other way around. We elected them. They're supposed to work for us.
Well, what changed?
Well, it didn't just start with this administration. Like you said, it was the previous administration. But now it's blatant and obvious and back in our faces. If all of the polls say the American public does not want something, yet they pass a bill, knowing that all of the polls say we don't want it, something is wrong there. They're not even listening.
All right, this fellow behind you, I assume your lesser half? Okay.
That's right.
Now, what do you say when people say that this won't change anything, that the government will still do what it does, even if parties completely change in the fall?
Well, I think with this election coming up in November, we have to put candidates out there that we believe in, that will sign something telling us that they're going to follow what we put them in office for. And if they don't, we need to get rid of them. So hopefully we'll have candidates that come along that are honest and do what they have promised us to do.
Okay, so you guys are mad at everybody.
Yes,
Well, just the people that don't listen.
It's a bipartisan rant here.
we're not mad at you. But.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good so far. Guys, thank you very much. We'll be going back into that crowd a lot more. As you can see here, this cuts across all swaths, all types, all people. When we come back, hearing from Virginia Thomas, the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, we got Marco Rubio here. He's become a rock star not only for this movement, but right now some big waves in Florida, including the possibility that Chris Christ is going to run as an independent, or Charlie Crist is. We're on top of that. A lot of late-breaking developments we're going to cover with Rubio and Ms. Thomas. Stay around. You're watching Your World from Atlanta, Georgia.